because you can get super creative with it. There's like a million ways you can dice it, and every project is different. So you're just thinking about like, okay, what makes sense for this thing and how can I
Hey,
make a lot? Yeah.
I saw a horror movie because I was in Florida for a week and I saw a horror movie. Segue out.
What was the
Sorry.
movie?
Nosferatu.
What'd you think?
Have you seen it?
No.
Of course you haven't seen it. And the one horror movie you haven't seen, I can't
What'd you
discuss it.
think?
I liked it more than I was expecting to.
Yeah.
Robert Eggers movie. I didn't love The Lighthouse, humbly. Um, I know he's a stylish
That's an
director.
acquired taste.
His style, or what?
The Lighthouse specifically. That's not like a crowd pleaser movie. So I
Did you,
totally get that.
did you see it?
Yeah. I thought it
Well,
was I thought it was good for like what it is. I went in with the expectation of what it is. If I didn't have that framing around it, there but around that time, bro,
what was your expectation? Because mine was it was going to be a kind of gothic picture about old lighthouses and the tenants and them going crazy.
yeah, I mean I mine was pretty much the same, but I heard about stuff like the aspect ratio and like like the small box and shit,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, regardless, that stuff to me is all additives. It's nice. At the end of the day, you shouldn't necessarily have to be able to notice the style. It should just serve the story. It should enhance the story.
So did you feel like it enhanced the story or
No, the style hurt it to me. I thought he's kind of going for this almost like Wes Anderson horror stick figure type thing, awkwardness.
yeah.
And to me, a lot of the times, it doesn't suit my personal taste. It's subjective. I think his stuff, I respect that he's going. I actually like the subject matter of a lot of the stuff he goes for, but it's just that where it lands. I think he ends up making scenes for actors look really awkward. Like he does these big tentpole performance pieces where the actors do a lot of emoting and a lot of crazy stuff, especially in Nosferatu with Lily Rose Depp. She's doing
Yeah.
these like exorcism style scenes where she's going crazy and stuff. And it ends up being a little like awkward, corny. Like I'm taken out of it. Same thing with William Dafoe in Lighthouse. Like he's doing these like really crazy freakouts and stuff. And I'm just watching it, I'm like, this is sorry,
Mhm.
I don't buy it. Like it doesn't feel like a Tarantino movie,
I
or
agree.
even
I
Spacey
agree.
or something, or even Wes Anderson gets very niche into very specific performances. But like, yes, I'm taken out of the movie and those movies a lot more than most stuff. But like, I want to see broad characters, big time, bigger than life characters done tastefully. And I think a lot of times Eggers' movies, it just doesn't hit for
I
me.
like The Witch. Did you see The Witch?
I gotta watch that obviously, but I hear it's good.
That one, I mean, that one, like the style, it does serve the story. I feel the same way about, and actually, what I've heard, I haven't seen Nosferatu, but what I've heard is like, that's what I'd be
People,
expecting going into it too. It's just like
people,
stylistic.
well, yeah. I heard from a few people that like this one wasn't as good as the other movies, and I don't mean to just be contrarian to that. I just genuinely, when I was on the plane, I was like, oh, first of all, Dracula. I always like that concept for some reason.
Yeah.
There's something cool about like German folklore and like going into the woods of Germany and seeing the Bohemians and stuff, the gypsies, and then they have this like tale of this vampire that lives over the hill, and they go to him, and all sorts of ripe for material. And I actually think one of my favorite scenes was when he first meets Dracula, the main guy, and it's tough to pull off that scene and make it seem real, but I think they did a pretty interesting job of making this, you know, stranger than fiction story seem real. But I think I liked aspects of it. I humbly think it was a 6 out of 10.
It's still like solid. Eggers and Ari Aster are like around the same time. They're like kind of similar in terms of being these stylistic horror guys. And what's
Yeah.
interesting is when they started out, they were kind of reined in a little bit because like they had these extra sensibilities or whatever. Like Ari Aster ended up making Beau is Afraid. I don't know if you saw that,
I
but
didn't, but
I saw the
yeah.
first half. But like if they're reined in, like they're obviously really like intelligent, competent filmmakers, but if they have a little bit of the reining in, instead of completely being able to do whatever they want,
Well,
it ends up being better.
that's an interesting point. I'm curious to know how you know that they reined it in, but think of stylistic movies. Where do you appreciate style the most? I mean, off the top of my head, I love it with even it's a random example, but something like Moonlight, the A24 movie Moonlight. It was just beautifully shot movie, and everything was like enhanced by the colors and the music, and it was just so stylistic. A more subtle styles, David Fincher's movies are
I
really
was
like,
going to say David Fincher, yeah.
well, yeah, wow, yeah.
And I know you don't like this film, even though it's like my favorite one he's ever made, but The Game, bro. The
I
Game.
love the game.
Oh, for real?
I never said that.
All right, we got to look back because that shit's recorded. Maybe you were just
I
feeling some kind of contrary mood or whatever, but you
Oh, no, no.
he said you didn't like The Game, bro. I'm telling you.
No, I love that you just brought up the game. I don't think I've ever heard you say that. The game is kind of a random one. Over the years, the people that love the game, like I always hit it off with them, like because that was
One of my all-time favorite movies, like top five, I'd say, bro.
Michael Douglas and Sean Penn. Very
Michael
sus-
Douglas was so good in that. So was Sean Penn, but like I love Douglas's character, just the weathered businessman guy, Wall Street.
that's what he does best. Yeah, he plays a preppy white guy who's been through it and he's kind of cynical really well.
He's great at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like when I'm thinking about movies like The Game, like yeah, everything serves a story. It's stylistic to me in the sense of like you when you're watching the film, you feel like you're in really good hands. Like everything that David Fincher, every shot is so meticulously thought of and done millions of times. So like when you get that and you hit it, there are certain shots he does that's like I would never think to do it that way, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the style of like the social network, Seven and everything. I mean, it just transports you even more into the world. Other stylistic movies, obviously Birdman, Enrique Iñárritu, and The Revenant. That he did both of them. His specific style and that DP Chiva,
Yeah.
they they specifically make everything feel like it's done in one shot, super wide angle lens, and this style ends up feeling like you're a fly on the wall through that. And I so I love both the style in both those movies. What else? I like this subject. What are the best? I mean, sci-fi stuff, Blade Runner. I like that style.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, was Scarface stylistic for its time? Yeah, defined style. Is Ridley Scott stylistic? Gladiator, etc., Alien.
His is
Uh,
he is really good at like huge,
Action.
huge films. It's like when Uncle Timmy was on and he was talking about that one show he did for HBO. It might have been the Pacific, I forget.
Yeah.
Probably the Pacific, but I was asking him like how does it feel um how does it feel directing something that has like thousands of people on set? And he said it's the exact same thing as directing something with like two people because it's so many people that your mind can't like fully focus on the thousand people. But going back to Gladiator, like he's so good at that number of people. That's not my comfort zone at all. Like I would never want to do a film with hundreds.
I would think you got to boil it down in the same way. You have to have the same North Star when you're directing, shooting anything, in a sense, acting in too. What is the task at hand? So when you're on the giant scope thing with all these extras and stuff, you're gonna have plenty of assistant directors that it's their specific job to take charge of one area, one group or whatever. And it comes down to the same stuff every time, bro. What's the scene about?
Yeah,
What's
but there's
happening in the scene?
100%, but there is
Everyone serves a part. So if they're out in the audience and you're filming something that's supposed to be like the town square in Rome, well then what would be happening in that town square? There's no small parts. Even
right.
for extras, they're playing a part. What would
Totally.
actually be happening in that scene? Yeah.
That's why there's that much more complexity there though. Like even in my favorite film, which you still haven't fucking seen, which I can't believe. You're doing yourself a disservice, bro. Do you even remember the name?
I have it written down.
Oh, okay. Where do you have it written down in
My
your
notes.
journal?
My notes. I have a.
The Invitation, bro. The Invitation from 2015, my favorite movie of all time. That film, Karen Kusama, the director, talks about the complexity of it's basically a movie with 9 people. It's an ensemble film, and they're all in this house. And just her having to think about where are these people grouped together? How do they move in the scene? How does the camera follow the movement of that? She's talking about how complex that was, even with like 9 people. And I get that. I totally see that. Same thing with the guy who did Shazam. David what's his name? The guy who did Lights Out, David Sandberg. David Sandberg talked about he needed to create animatics of like all the different characters running around for these huge complex like action moves. And it's just like god damn, like I've shot listed every single shot for my feature already. It's all done. I have every shot. I think it's like 45 pages of just shots. It's every single one. And I only have like the biggest scene I have maybe has 8 characters, but even that was really complex. So just adding on like all the extra stuff, Ridley Scott, I mean, props, man. I can't
Are
imagine.
you looking to any other movies and saying, "Hey, I'm inspired by this," or "I'm inspired by that"? That is something to do, you know.
It is something to do. And I haven't really done it yet. I'm planning on like next month because we're shooting in July. And next month I'll bring on my DP and we'll start going over the shot list and everything. But 100% in terms of like tone, mood, inspiration, it's
I
very
will say, yeah, like Ian, I was listening to the interview about Robert Eggers for what it's worth, and like he'll for his shots on like a master or something, he'll say, I want it to look like this painting. I want it to, why is the snow in this movie from the 80s better look than the snow from this movie in the 2000s? We need to get that same snow in the 80s. Like he's very attentive to details. And I think at this day and age where we're at with horror, I don't think you can settle for any less if you're going to try to get stand
I
out.
I agree.
I think
I
it's got to
agree.
have meticulous artistic detail with the look of the movie because
100%.
yeah.
I totally agree, man. I'm really proud that I was able to like this is first step, but get every shot down at least. That's like way further than anything I've done. I usually wing it. I show up on set and I'm like, like let's figure this out.
Which
You know,
comes, yeah.
which has helped with like because shit always hits the fan on any set you're in, even like it doesn't matter how prepared you are.
Yeah.
So having that flexibility to be able to be fluid is good, but you need
And
a
I also think it's never good to find reasons not to shoot. Like set the deadline, shoot, and then when you have time, then go and be extra creative and put more thought into like how can we make this look good, but don't let it get in the way of you like making the story.
right. It's crazy, man. The amount of different hats when you're a producer and director and like all this shit, you got to flip between all of them. Like I'm thinking about like how am I gonna market this thing? How am I gonna I'm writing the next film. How am I get financially getting the next slate of films off the ground? Um, what's the mood of this film? It's a lot of flipping gears, back and forth to a lot of different stuff. But it's fun. It's all fun.
Love it, dude. Yeah, man, I'm doing this short film, which will be like a proof of concept for a feature, allegedly. The
You brought it before the pod, you brought this up. I don't think you ever talked about this before.
I love it. I wrote it on the plane. I couldn't have because we thought of it on the trip. Yeah,
There you go.
I was in Florida for a week doing a pickleball tournament, which, by the way, I got second place in.
Congrats.
Thank you,
Get a
thank you.
trophy.
Yeah, medal. Mr.
Medal.
Silver.
Sick.
Dude, we had it. We were gonna win gold, and then we kind of choked.
Mm.
What are you gonna do? Yeah, we don't know. We'll find out next pod. So me and my dad thought of a movie based off a person that we know in real life that we like to laugh about. Like, what if that person was like a killer? So, without a movie, The Pickleball Killer.
Oh my God.
Alternative title is The Killer Slice. Alternative title is also The Pickleball Massacre. And yeah, dude, it's pretty damn funny. We want to film in this. Our buddy filmer Dylan, he's gonna shoot it like a Wes Anderson style again, and we want the title sequence to be like out of like Creature of the Black Lagoon or something. The
Hmm.
pickleball player. Dun, dun. And my dad's gonna play the pickleball killer.
Perfect.
Yeah, as one would hope. My uncle Jimmy's gonna be in it, tournament director.
Hell yeah, dude. When are you shooting it?
I think like next week,
Are you directing?
of course.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Do you got your mood and visual references?
that's what it made me think about. I was like that at all, and you're right. When it comes easy, it comes easy. Like, by the way, I was writing this thing. I thought about it with my dad, and my dad's like, "Okay, well, freaking make it." And I was like, "Yeah, I will." So I started with an outline, wrote it down on the page, and then I'm riding on the plane with someone next to me. I'm right. And I lift my head up and start talking to the person next to me, and she goes, "Oh, hey, you're a writer?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And she goes, "I can't believe how that stuff comes to you. I mean, how do you do it? Like, how does it just come out of you?" And once I got over my self-righteousness of being hyped from the compliment, I was like, well, everyone kind of has different ways of going about it, but for me, it's much easier when I start with an outline. Like I start with like different bullet points of what the whole thing's about, and then after that, I just go in scene by scene and I just think about it. And especially for comedy, this type of thing, it kind of writes itself because it's inspired by some true people, and then I just lean into what I think's funny about it, and I get ideas from this or that. And in this particular one, I could have gone in two different directions, and so I spent some time. I actually wrote out what would it be like if it went in this direction
Mhm.
versus what it went in the other one, and I just read it out loud to my dad today, and he was laughing hard. So
Isn't it weird how it's like a difference in the way your brain is wired. Like people who write and people who direct and all that kind of stuff, like seeing it, like spinning something out. It's weird how it works. I love how that one guy talks about it. The director who just passed, David something. Twin Peaks.
David Lynch,
Thanks.
yeah,
David
yeah.
Lynch. How he talks about ideas, like you're kind of like you've got like you like bait out and then like suddenly you catch a fish and you're like, oh, like it just comes to you. It's weird how it works, but not everyone's wired that way. Most people aren't wired that way. And it's just weird how like you're directing stuff now. So like you look at the page and you see the visual and the image in your brain as you're reading the words. Not everyone has that. It's weird.
It's like anything else. I Once you start thinking with that lens on, like, hey, I'm gonna make stuff, I'm a filmmaker, whatever. Now I start to look at movies and think, okay, what are they doing with that shot? How do they just introduce those two characters? How did they do the master versus how someone else might do a master shot? Instead of just doing a close up, why do they do that over the shoulder, et cetera, et cetera? So now you start to look at it through that lens, and the mystique gradually drops and goes away, and you're like, oh, now I'm. And as far as the writing
Writing
stuff,
stuff.
it's the same thing. With
my
the
my composer blows my mind because he's like I tell him like what the scene is about and he's like oh and then, like he's got his piano he's like oh like a little like dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, and he kind of like comes up with something. I'm like yeah but I think like the emotion is a little different here in this part and then he's like oh yeah no I know what you mean but and it's like perfect. I'm like how the fuck can you do that? It's just like it's crazy, man. I love it. That's why I love film because you're working with all these people who have this like skill set that so comes so naturally. Same thing with actors. an actor has an impulse and they do something and they're elevating the stuff I wrote to a level that I never thought of, but it works so
Yeah.
well.
By the way, I got into a new acting class officially.
Is this the one that your like cousin is in?
No. I wish I got into that, but it was full. And then Tanner's class was full. And then I ran into Tanner's ex-girlfriend, who's an awesome person, and she's in this class that I saw come up. And she's like, dude, it's fantastic. It's all like imagination. Like it's just get deeper and deeper into the story and everything. So sounded good to me. So I reached out and the only thing is they had me read a book before I start the class. They're like, oh, you got to be on the same page. So you have to read their technique book. And I was like, oh, it's red flag number one. But it seems like some pyramid scheme. But
What is the
the
book?
the book is the teacher's acting method that she prescribes. And at the end of the day,
Wait,
I've
it's the teacher who teach. Did she write the book?
yeah, yeah.
Wow, what's her name? Can you share?
Yeah, might as well. Werner Lachlan?
I'm always fascinated where these people come from. How do you become a guru? How do you become an acting teacher? Yo, she was in the movie Buried. Was she the voice? Do you know what I'm talking about? The movie with fucking Ryan Reynolds, where the entire thing is him like in a box being buried. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey, I need to see that. That sounds
Bro, that
sick.
is it's like the best. Like I know he's like going through all this public shit right now, but straight up the best acting like of all time. Because if you think about it, he's it's the entire 90 minutes is him in a box in a
Yeah,
fucking buried. That's the whole concept, right?
that's
And
gotta
it
be
is
good
the most
writing.
engaging fucking thing I've ever seen.
What's your second favorite movie? Phone Booth?
I teed you up. I teed you up. Dude. Yeah, that's no, that's all I watch, bro. Just like one location.
Just rooting for people
Not more, two locations, I'm out.
one above our pay grade.
Yeah.
No, first of all, I remember hearing about that. Secondly, that's interesting she's in that. I thought there was only one actor in that movie.
There was one, but maybe she was the voice on the other side. Wait,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some digging. Keep talking. What else is going
Yeah, so I hear the class is good. I'm gonna be in a good scene study class again, I hope so. Working my craft.
That's good, man. It's good to keep the gears going. Uh,
Yeah, I think there's more ways that I can like show the universe that I'm exerting myself in that way. But I really want to get doing stand-up comedy again. Like I think it's just I
you
have a
always
lot
you
doing
always
it.
talk about that.
I know. I did a pickleball tournament event where I was a commentator and my dad commentated it with me and he had me doing impressions the whole time and it was like a huge hit. He's like he's like, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen, once you know we happen to have ex-President Bill Clinton here today. Bill have to," and I go, "Well, pickleball seems amazing, but don't tell Hillary that I'm here." And then we just went down the list. Barack Obama. Well, the first thing about pickleball is it seems like you got to look at yourself in the mirror and ask, what am I doing for my country?
Oh my God. Bro,
So,
do you know what's crazy? Since you brought up because we were talking about Kill Tony and you brought up that kid Jack something, you like your family friends or whatever. Bro, I've literally seen his set like three times now. I think it's that good. It's so fucking funny. And it's hilarious seeing Tony like interact with him, you know?
yeah, apparently it's great. That's
He's
so
funny,
wild.
bro. He's funny.
Of course. That's
Kill
amazing.
Tony 2 was on Netflix.
Was it?
Yeah, they did like a live show and now it's up there.
That's
Would
beast.
you ever do Kill Tony, bro? That'd be crazy.
Why not? Yeah.
Do it, man. It's a minute. That's the craziest part about it. You only have a minute.
Minute, a minute goes by fast though. Yeah, when you're up there. But
How long are your sets usually?
I've only done 5 minute ones.
5 minutes. Does that feel like forever? I bet.
So I don't want to say forever. When I think back, like it's just like it is what it is. Like you go through your bits or whatever, and you can kind of. I think I erred on the side of like elongating my bits and like kind of talk them through and feel it out so that I kind of take up more time than I need to probably.
Right.
Everything I've done so far with stand-up comedy, it's all sort of been a little half-baked. I
Hmm.
haven't really felt like, oh, I've mapped out these jokes so that they just knock out of the park. I've never really done that, but
It just depends what you want to do, where you want to prioritize stuff. We talk about that all the time. But I'd love to see a set if you do something. Also, when's the Vegas thing? When's the plan? Is it finance? Are they shooting? Like, is there a schedule? Like, or is it just kind of up in the air?
for the sequel movie to my
Yeah,
dad's,
the film.
at this point, we're now on, we're done with the first draft, and I think its plan is shoot it by early 2026.
Hell yeah. That's
It's gonna
coming
be,
up.
I know.
Sweet. Dude,
Yeah.
that's gonna be huge for you too, man. I mean, that's gonna be good to get back
Thanks.
on, like a film, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, big budget film. And it's kind of a weighty part. It's a big freaking part.
I know.
It's a big movie. I mean, it'd be the time of my life, it'd be such an opportunity.
Dude, I'd love to read it if I'm ever able to,
Yeah, of
because I
course.
want to see what you're about to do.
I appreciate it. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's extensive. Um, so it's gonna be great. What else, boyo?
Well, I'm just keeping it pushing, man. It's gonna be a busy next couple of years just with getting films off the
Multiple
ground, bro.
movies.
That's the plan. Just getting films.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So you're shooting this short like next week probably. And then what's up with that one that you shot, bro? Where's it at? Where's it at?
I talked to him today about it. He's classic short films. He's like the rough draft is done, edited, and now he's like I think he's like hiring a professional editor to go through and polish it. And he said, I'll probably get to see it, but then sending it to film festivals and through to everywhere he can send it out to.
Cool.
Yeah.
I bet you're excited to see it. Uh that
Yes. I just hope I just want people to see these things, I hate the idea of like movies just getting swarmed up.
Well, I mean, bro, the crazy thing about it is like, because I've done that too. I'm guilty of that, of shooting something and then kicking it. And like, I don't know what it is. I think it's like because the actual editing of it, the actual doing of it, when you actually sit down and fucking crank it out, it takes like a day. At least for the first like rough edit, it takes like a day. But it takes me like at least 2 weeks to be like, all right, let's go. Like, let's fucking go. Like, I don't know what it is, but to get myself to start editing is like fucking brutal. I hate editing. It's rough.
A rough one, right?
Yeah,
Dude, I'm so tired.
I
I
can
apologize.
tell. We only got 3 minutes, bro, and we can close out early. The thing is, yo, I just wanted to ask you the frat movie. What's with that?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
That one from a long time ago at the
Yeah.
frat house?
Is it released?
Dude, no. I think they just like buried it.
Bro, what the fuck? Did you get the footage?
I think I saw my scene. They like, basically cut me out of the movie. Didn't get coverage.
That's such bullshit. What the
It's such
fuck?
bullshit. I know. Another
That's
one by
one, bro. That is one thing that just like as being an actor, I can't imagine, dude. Because on my end, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I still have a product. I can switch it up and change it up. But sometimes I will cut down like a certain scene or a role or whatever to fit the movie. And
totally. It's not personal.
it's not personal, but fuck, dude. I mean, it sucks.
Yeah. It's funny because that's the first movie that I've seen myself where I was like, crap, I did not come off as good as I was hoping. Like
Interesting.
Usually in stuff when I see myself, like the Netflix thing, even the Lifetime movies, I see myself and I'm like, those are elaborate scenes, extensive material, and I think I really like, came off real and interesting and stuff. And but I think this movie is just like corny.
You got to tell the Lifetime guy to make a sequel. Fatal Fixer Upper 2, baby. Let's go.
Part due. They he finds another sad couple.
Yeah, it's easy. It's such a How did the movie end? I forget. Is there room for a sequel or did they kill you?
I'm trying to remember myself. I think they found me. Oh yeah, they killed me. Boom, went down.
But then it was all a dream. It's a
Yes.
movie. Let's make a sequel.
Come on, bring him back or prequel.
Prequel, bro.
Well, let's
We'll
see.
go wide release, dog, like 3,000 screens. You're gonna be up
He's
there on that gigantic billboard when you go into Hollywood. Fatal Fixer Upper, the prequel.
it's a fantastic billboard anyway. The cover of the movie is just, I mean, me with a pair of gigantic pliers
Bro,
or garden shears, gardening
they're
shears.
better than that.
Right. My dude, my computer's about to run out of battery too.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna,
man. Let's call it. It's good seeing you. We'll do it again next week.
brother, sounds great. Always great seeing you, man. Have the best week.
Pleasure. You too, man. Talk
All
soon.
right.
Bye.